Ugh. Ugh.
Welcome to the
Oh my
Millionaire
god.
Inn. If there's anything I can get you, just let me know.
I feel like that took forever. Is it seriously still the same day that we left? We were gone for a week.
You heading up to High Hrothgar soon, Klimek?
I wish I didn't have to.
He doesn't
It's quite
have to.
a difficult climb.
An orc follows
I'm
to
going.
the death.
I'm going. I told him already. I'm
It
going.
isn't as though the Greybeard. Linley, would you mind taking care of the customer, please?
Oh, Lindley, hey.
No problem. You want a drink?
Is that code for something? Look, hey, how about tonight just a song, huh?
Right away, my lord.
Stilico does look kind of tired. Look at him. He looks like he's had enough shit for one day. Yeah. Yeah, if anything, that fight reminds Stilico that he is nowhere near the most powerful thing in Skyrim, and this trip to the Greybeards is all about gaining himself some more power, so it only reinforces to him the need to go.
If I were you, I'd keep away from the barrow on the east side of town. It's haunted.
Yeah, I know, dude. I don't have any plans to bother with it. Oh, do I still have the room for a night? Let me see.
Are you joking?
Yes!
You just
Yes!
rented a room from
Whoa! It is the same day. Okay, good. Alright, well look, I think I need some food. Got that reserved. Oh, that's right. I'm gonna say that Lindley drank that. I'll put it in a barrel or something.
We don't get many visitors through here, unless they're headed up to High Hrothgar. Let's sate
Yeah, I
that
know.
appetite. Hmm?
Okay, food. Food, man, food. I'm starving. Beef stew probably has veggies in it. No, that's no good. Cooked beef. Both of them. All 4 cooked chickens. 2 jugs of milk, actually. This will be good for breakfast. Roast goat. And, let's say, 6 salmon steaks. That ought to be enough to get me up the mountain, at least. Whew. You buy anything from me? Holy crap, you will. Hey, good. Right, keeping those. Those are my rings. And I used a lot. I mean, I still have a lot left, but I used a lot of healing today. Buy skooma? Here, knock yourself out, dude. Should see if there's anything heavy I can sell you. Galder black bow. I think I'm gonna keep that. Not to use. I think I'm gonna use it. Keep it as a trophy from that fight. That was nuts. That fight was insane. Call to arms. You can't pay me full price for it. I'll never use it. Is it heavy? There's a book that I picked up down there. What was it? I still gotta read that one. Words and Philosophy, that's what it was. Lady Benoch's. Benoch. That name comes from lore, I think. You know what? Maybe I'll keep that and read it. Oh, and there's the... Oh, no, the bird's eye was... Oh, that was, Misha, right? Here, take that, dude. Man. I feel exhausted, and I wasn't lifting a finger for that fight. Also, we'll have to check what the journal said about who to talk to. The Bella statue. Sure, take it, dude. It's £2. Troll hide. The Bella statue. I think I was gonna sell that to... Well, I guess I thought I was keeping it for Delvin or Vex, but I guess they wouldn't buy it, so... I should have probably sold it to Tonelia. I did not. Keep the troll fat. I guess that's the heaviest thing. Do. I always like that song. It's pretty. Yeah. Thank you.
If you pass
Thank
through
you,
again,
Wilhelm.
stop by for a drink.
Will do. I like this town, except for the deadly-ass cave. Alright. Food. I'm sure I'm starving. I don't know what the actual meter says, but... Oh, frickin' roast goat. Yeah, there we go. Eating too much. And just water tonight, actually. Here, Climic. Oh, wait. How many of those do I need? I need 2 filled. Okay. Actually, wait. Drink that one too. Now I need 3
Heard
filled.
Pemba yelling at you yesterday. Why do you let her treat you like that?
Who, me?
If you'll pardon the
Gwilla.
expression. She's
Need a room, maybe a drink.
There's much
You
more
name
to
it.
worry about in life.
Water.
Of course.
2.
Of course.
3.
Of course.
There we
If
go.
you're headed up to the monastery, watch your step. It's a long way down.
Yeah, that'll be tomorrow. Lindley, darling, she actually probably wants nothing to do with me because I just told her to not get mixed up with a guy like me. You have a beautiful voice. Actually, I don't think I've ever heard her sing.
I
Like she's
think you
just...
should continue with your performances.
Oh, yeah.
What's the point? I'm not very good, and it's only for the same few people every night.
I think you play beautifully. It would be a shame if
She
you
plays,
stopped.
she doesn't sing.
All right, Wilhelm. I suppose it's the least I can do for you. What could it mean? The return of the Dragonborn? And who among us could possibly hold that honor? And such power?
Here, why don't you play me another song while I head off to bed?
Right away, my lord.
So I didn't get to use the room last night for a good reason, but I do this evening. Oh, God.
If I could
Hey
sweep her
gang,
away
it's
from
me,
here
Pem.
tomorrow,
I
I'd
was
do it.
literally just about
Clinic
to
still has so much to
end
learn.
the play session here, but then
Clinic is doing just fine.
the game
You
crashed.
should follow your heart.
Perhaps one day.
So that's a bit of a bummer.
but not
I was
today.
thinking we would do a little bit of reading, just because, I don't know, why the hell not? Oh, and I gotta level up, right. We're under the stars, let's say. Right, so the Magicka situation. If summoning Dravos requires 134 and I only have 120, I think I'll actually level that up. We'll do it until we can do it. Do it until we can do it. You know what I mean. Ooh, something up in smithing. Did it? Level 27. Oh my god, and we're already like 3/5 of the way to level 28. Dwarven equipment. I think I got the scale armor book. I think I also have the dwarven armor book. Whoa, that was weird. Why did it take me over to enchant it? It's trying to tell me something. I actually have everything in block right now. Nothing new in one-handed. That requires level 50. These require level 50. Marksmanship, I think, needs to be level 50 except for point-blank shot. Quick shot's level 60. Focus is 50. Reload is 60. Fast movement 75. Power shot 75. Stunning precision 100. Finesse. Nothing new in sneak. Nothing new in lockpicking. Nothing new in pickpocket. And interestingly enough, nothing new in speech. I imagine this will probably start to unlock as we speak to the Greybeards and everything. Of course, we can't do that yet. Hang on. This is available. Level 50, huh. Proficient in acting. With the right equipment, you can now disguise yourself, although sometimes people can still tell that you are truly not one of them. Would that be like, just sneak into, like, if you were Imperial, you could sneak into Stormcloak holdings, or vice versa. Could you like sneak into Bandit holdings? I don't know. I think I'm gonna take point blank shot. It's about time, I think. Learn to use your weapon more efficiently in close quarters, allowing you to deal more damage to close targets. I could take a smithing perk now. You know, I think I will, actually. I've got those books. I'll just be carrying them around for nothing if I don't use them. Let's do scale armor first. The materials necessary to craft them are lighter weight than Dwarven. That's why I'm taking that one. Okay, so we were going to read. And we're going to read this book that we picked up in the cave. Gearman's Hall. Writ of Sealing. Oh, okay, also, when it crashed, I went back and reviewed some video just to make sure that everything recorded okay. The corpse that was, the desiccated corpse that was by itself with the note to it was Archmage Gearman's corpse. The Draugr that we fought was Sigdis, something like that, Gearman. So maybe presumably they're not the same person. I mean, I obviously know that they're not the same person. Stilico was trying to figure it out. And his journal... What the hell? His journal says he should investigate the cryptic message on the body of a powerful Draugr, condemning him for his ancient crimes. What was his story? Why was he entombed with a broken hamlet? Don't know how to do that. I mean, I could turn on the quest marker and find out, but I'm not going to. Turn that off for now. Heimskirk and Whiterun. Solitude. Oh, right, we didn't do the Way of the Nine when we were in Riften. We'll have to do that when we go back. Turn all these off, actually. Okay, so, for those of you who... She's not coming in here, is she? She's going to come in here. Hi, yes, hello.
You want a drink?
No, no, thank you. I really like you, but we're just hanging out for the evening and going to bed.
A pleasant journey, my lord.
Thank you.
Why do you let her treat you like...
Anyway... As per usual, this is the end of a play session. So, if you don't want to sit through this, just skip ahead to the next episode if there is one to watch. There will be no further gameplay in this episode. Those of you who want to stick around, read with me Lady Benoch's Words and Philosophy. Lady Elida Benoch, former master of the Valenwood Fighters Guild and head of the Emperor's personal guard in the Imperial City, has been leading a campaign to reacquaint the soldiers of Tamriel with the sword. I met with her on 3 different occasions for the purposes of this book. The first time was at her suite in the palace, on the balcony overlooking the gardens below. I was early for the interview, which had taken me nearly 6 months to arrange, but she gently chided me for not being even earlier. I've had time to put up my defenses now, she said, her bright green eyes smiling. Lady Benoch is a Bosmer. Oh, interesting. A wood elf, and like her ancestors, took to the bow in her early years. She excelled at the sport. By the age of 14, she had joined the hunting party of her tribe as a jackspur, long-distance shooter. During the Black Year of 396, when the Parik tribe began their rampage through southeastern Valenwood with the aid of powers from the Somerset Isle, Lady Benoch fought the futile battle to keep her tribe's land. I killed someone for the first time when I was 16, she says now. I don't remember it very well. He or she was just a blur on the horizon where I aimed my bow. It meant no more to me than shooting animals. I probably killed 100 people like that during the summer and fall. I didn't really feel like a killer until that wintertide, when I learned what it was like to look into a man's eyes as you spilled his blood. It was a scout from the Parik tribe who surprised me while I was on camp watch. We surprised each other, I suppose. I had my bow at my side, and I just panicked, trying to string an arrow when he was half a yard away from me. It was the only thing I knew to do. Of course, he struck first with his blade, and I just fell back in shock. You always remember the mistakes of your first victim. His mistake was assuming because he had drawn blood and I had fallen that I was dead. I rushed at him the moment he turned from me towards the sleeping camp of my tribesmen. He was caught off guard, and I wrested his blade away from him. I don't know how many times I stabbed at him, but by the time I stopped, when the next watch came to relieve me, my arms were black and blue with strain. There was not a solid piece of him left. I had literally cut him into pieces. You see, I had no concept of how to fight or how much it took to kill a man. Lady Benoch, aware of this deficiency in her education, began teaching herself swordsmanship at once. You can't learn how to use a sword in Valenwood, she says, which isn't to say Bosmer can't use blades, but we're largely self-taught. As much as it hurt when my tribe found itself homeless, pushed to the north, it did have one good aspect. It afforded me the opportunity to meet Red Guards. Studying all manner of weapon wielding under the tutelage of Warde Akor, Lady Benoch excelled. She became a freelance adventurer, traveling through the wilds of southern Hammerfell and northern Valenwood, protecting caravans and visiting dignitaries from the various dangers indigenous to the population. Hey, wait a minute. Northern Valenwood and southern Hammerfell don't border. There's a giant chunk of Cyrodiil in between. Okay. Unfortunately, before we were able to pursue her story of her early years any further, Lady Benoch was called away on urgent summons from the Emperor. Such is often the case with the Imperial Guard, and in these troubled times perhaps more so than in the past. When I tried to contact her for another talk, her servants informed me that their mistress was in Skyrim. Another month passed, and when I visited her suite, I was told she was in High Rock. To her credit, Lady Benoch actually sought me out for our second interview on sun's dusk of that year. I was in a tavern in the city called the Blood and Rooster when I felt her hand on my shoulder. She sat down at the rude table and continued her tale as if it had never been interrupted. She returned to the theme of her days as an adventurer and told me about the first time she ever felt confident with a sword. I owned at that time an enchanted Dai Katana, quite a good one, of Daedric metal. It wasn't an original Akaviri, not even of design. I didn't have that kind of money. But it served my primary purpose of delivering as much damage with as little effort on my part as possible. Akor had taught me how to fence, but when faced with a life-or-death situation, I always fell back on the old overhand wallop. A pack of orcs had stolen some gold from a local chieftain in Meditia. I don't know where that is. And I went looking for them in one of the ubiquitous dungeons that dot the countryside in that region. In every region on Tamriel. There were the usual rats and giant spiders, and I was enough of a veteran by then to dispatch them with relative ease. The problem came when I found myself in a pitch-black room, likely to be eaten by a grue. And all around me I heard the grunts of orcs nearing in. Is that what orcs do, Dargo? They just grunt at you as they come in the dark? I waved my sword around me, connecting with nothing, hearing their footsteps coming ever nearer. Somehow I managed to hold back my fear and to remember the simple exercises Master Akor had taught me. I listened, stepped sideways, swung, twisted, stepped forward, swung a circle, turned around, sidestepped, swung. My instinct was right. The orcs had gathered in a circle around me, and when I found a light, I saw that they were all dead. That's when I focused on my study of swordplay. I'm stupid enough to require a near-death experience to see the practical purposes, you see. Good grief, how long is this book? Oh, okay. Good grief. Alright, we're maybe halfway? Maybe not quite. Lady Benoch spent the remainder of the interview responding in her typically blunt way to the veracity of various myths that surrounded her and her career. It was true that she became the master of the Valenwood Fighters Guild after winning a duel with the former master, who was a stooge of the Imperial Battle Mage, the traitor Jagger Tharn. It was not true that she was the one responsible for the Valenwood Guild's disintegration 2 years later. She says, actually, the membership in the Valenwood chapter was healthy, but in Tamriel overall, the mood was not conducive for the continued existence of a non-partisan organization of freelance warriors. It was true that she first came to the Emperor's attention when she defended Queen Akorithi of Sentinel from a Breton assassin. It was not true that the assassin was hired by someone in the High Court of Daggerfall. At least, she says wryly, that has never been proven. It was also true that she married her former servant Urken after he had been in her service for 11 years. No one knows how to keep my weaponry honed like he does, she says. It's a practical business. I either had to give him a raise or marry him. The only story I asked her that she would neither admit nor refute was the one about Calaxes, the Emperor's bastard. When I brought up the name, she shrugged, professing no knowledge of the affair. I pressed on with the details of the story. Calaxes, though not in line for succession, had been given the Archbishopric of the One, a powerful position in the Imperial City, and indeed over all Tamriel, where that religion is honored. Whispering began immediately that Calaxes believed that the gods were angered with the secular governments of Tamriel and the Emperor specifically. It was even said that Calaxes advocated full-scale rebellion to establish a theocracy over the Empire. It is certainly true, I pressed on, that the Emperor's relationship with Calaxes had become very stormy, and that legislation had been passed to limit the Church's authority. That is, up until the moment when Calaxes disappeared, suddenly, without notice to his closest friends. Many said that Lady Benoch and the Imperial Guard assassinated the Archbishop Calaxes in the sacristy of his church. The date usually given was the 29th of Sun's Dusk, 3rd Era 398. I'm trying to remember timing here. This would have to be... when she's talking about the Emperor, she's talking about Uriel Septim the 7th, right? Titus Mede, the 1st and 2nd, would not have been until the 4th Era, obviously. Maybe this is a book from Oblivion, I guess? I don't know. Of course, responds Lady Benoch with one of her mysterious grins. I don't need to tell you that the Imperial Guard's position is as protectors of the throne, not assassins. But surely no one is more trusted than the Guard for such a sensitive operation, I say, carefully. Lady Benoch acknowledges that, but merely says that such details of her duties must remain secret as a matter of Imperial security. Unfortunately, her ladyship had to leave early the next morning, as the Emperor had business down south. Of course, I couldn't be told more specifics. She promised to send me word when she returned, so we could continue our interview. Good grief, there's more. As it turned out, I had business of my own in the Somerset Isle, compiling a book on the Psijic Order. It was therefore with surprise that I met her ladyship 3 months later in Firsthold. We managed to get away from our respective duties to complete our third and final interview on a walk along the Disetto, the great river that passes through the royal parks of the city. Steering away from questions of her recent duties and assignments, which I guessed rightly she was loath to answer, I returned to the subject of sword fighting. Frandar Hunding, she says, lists 38 grips, 750 offensive and 1,800 defensive positions, and nearly 9,000 moves essential to sword mastery. The average hack and slasher knows one grip, which he uses primarily to keep from dropping his blade. He knows one offensive position, facing his target, and one defensive position, fleeing. Of the multitudinous rhythms and inflections of combat, he knows less than one. The ways of the warrior were never meant to be the easiest path. The archetype of the idiot fighter is as solidly ingrained as that of the brilliant wizard and the shrewd thief. But it was not always so. The figure of the philosopher swordsman, the blade-wielding artist, are creatures of the past, together with the singer of the Red Guards, who was said to be able to create and wield a blade with but the power of his mind. The future of the intelligent blade wielder looks bleak in comparison to the glories of the past. Not wanting to end our interview on a sour note, I pressed Lady Elena Benoch for advice for young blade swingers just beginning their career. When confronted with a wizard, she says, throwing petals of conthleaf into the Disetto, close the distance and hit him hard. Could not agree more, Lady Benoch. So here they're mentioning, on this page they're mentioning the figure of the philosopher swordsman, right? That kind of reminds me of Vivek's characterization in Morrowind as the warrior poet. It makes me think maybe that's kind of what he was a fighter who was very well trained in the arts of swordplay. And maybe he had, maybe the sword singers of the Red Guards were similarly skilled. There's actually a, I'm not sure which game it's from, but there's a lore text, and I cannot remember the title of it either. I've only read it once, and it's about Vivek visiting Red Guards on Yokuda. and they refer to him as the demon Vivek, like they think he's a devil, basically. But they have a conversation about sword fighting, I think. I wish I could remember the name of that book. That's the only time I've ever heard Vivek have any relationship with Redguards at all, and it's interesting that here they mention Philosopher Swordsman, which is very close to Warrior Poet, and the Sword Singers of the Redguards. Just a thought. That's my nerdy lore comment of the day. Alright, it's only 6:15 p.m., but we're going to pretend it's later, because that reading surely took 2 or 3 hours.
There's much more to worry about in life.
Dargo's going to be up for a while, it looks like, but let's go to bed. Let's sleep for a full 12 hours and get an early start tomorrow. So, wow, again, that was a crazy-ass dungeon. Thanks for sitting through that long-ass fight, guys. Until next time, take care, and I will see you around.